I really dislike just how open both Harris and Walz have been with like, yeah, I mean, free speech doesn't protect hate speech and misinformation, and that needs to be shut down. It's like, no, that's not how free speech works. Free speech isn't there to protect people being like, go Ravens. It's to protect actually, controversial speech.
Well, I don't want to protect
the idea
Russian
that you can just
Russian
let
bots, though.
the idea you can just let one political party or a bunch of rich oligarchs in big tech decide what is and isn't allowed to be said by the American public on the public square, which is Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all of these things.
I hear where you're coming from, but it's so difficult to get this right? Because at some point, telling people vaccines are bad and creating a movement that gets people to stop taking them, and not just the COVID one. I know that one's newer, but vaccines in general. RFK says they cause autism and the world should stop taking vaccines. But we know they do a lot more good than harm. And if you spread information like RFK does, it is more destructive than yelling fire in a theater. It's a problem.
Why can't he
on the other
make
hand,
his voice heard?
I have more to say. On the other hand, to your point, like it is really difficult to figure out what's right and what's wrong. I remember about the masks, right? At first, you don't need masks. Then any mask will do. Then cloth masks are no good. And that changed. And you could get banned from Twitter by saying that it came from a lab in Wuhan instead of the bat market or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they were doing that in good faith. And then it turns out they were working on perhaps wrong information. And if you censor people for saying shit that's not true, that could later turn out to be true, then you've done a terrible thing. So it is hard to censor, and if you want people to be right and not hurt other people, but you don't know for sure what's right, it puts you in a spot where you get shit wrong and it becomes a bad thing.
For me, it's very easy. Like, when in doubt, don't censor people. Like, if you're directly calling to harm someone or being like, go to this person's house and drag him out of it. Like, we all know can't do that shit. But the idea that like RFK can't go talk about the fucking his whatever platelet spinning shit he thinks Americans should do to be jacked, or if he like has a problem with some vaccines, I feel he should be able to say what he believes.
And all it's going to do, mostly agree. It's just I'm trying to say it's really hard to draw that line and get it right all the time. It's like any kind of notes moderation.
Fixes this, right?
If you give them that credence, that leeway to do it, like, we know the side that wants to censor misinformation, like, they censored the mask stuff. They censored lots of stuff over the past few years that ended up being correct. And like, I don't give them all the faith of like, oh, they just got the information wrong. Like, no, they at some point knew the Hunter Biden laptop was real. Those intelligence agents knew that, and they lied, and it was said as misinformation. And so like, no matter who's in charge, whether it's Harris or Trump or whatever, like, I don't want that person to be able to go, oh, this thing that reflects poorly on me and my friends and my little enclave here, my donors, my big spenders. No, that's misinformation, actually. And questioning it loses you your YouTube channel. How do you like that? Loses you your Twitter account, your Facebook. Like, it's sinister, and it's always overused. Like, it never stops on one little thing. Like, they want more control over our speech online. And that's a huge threat, because that's all we have online now is speech here for the most part. Like, that's why like Elon buying Twitter was a great thing. Like, actually having a more uncensored, and he still censors plenty of stuff. There's still stuff censored on there.
He still censors stuff he doesn't like. And Twitter may have been somewhat political back in 2015, but what it is now is off the fucking charts. The owner of Twitter is literally going to Trump rallies and promoting Trump.
Yeah, the owner of Facebook, literally $400 million.
He's giving millions of dollars to people to vote in the way that he wants them.
More or less.
This is so far beyond the pale
more or less
of what
money
you didn't like about 2015 and 2016.
Hold on,
what he's doing
more
now is fucking insane.
You had no problem with Mark Zuckerberg doing this.
A media company and is taking his bias and putting it out there 100 times more than existed 4 years ago or
That's
8
not
years
true.
ago.
Facebook
and you
was
don't see
actively
not
covering
true.
up stories.
He's donating hundreds of millions of dollars to Trump's campaign. If Twitter had a bias before, it was subtle, and it was like a couple dick pics of the Hunter Biden.
Now
they
covered up information that was hurtful to Democrats in an election season. It wasn't subtle.
This isn't subtle. What's happening now is so far beyond what has ever happened before. Fucking literally, Elon Musk is on stage at Trump's rallies promoting him, paying people millions of dollars to vote for Trump.
I don't remember you having an issue with this 4 years ago when Elon Musk.
That's what I'm saying to you.
I'm sorry, not Elon Musk.
That's what I'm saying to you. Like,
yeah,
4 years ago, I did have an issue with it, and I was a little like, it turns out they fucked that up, and I don't like it. But what they're doing now is so far beyond what they've done in the past. Now that Elon Musk, a Trump supporter, a future Trump cabinet member, they say, is owning Twitter.
I want to know, like, what is okay? So the owner of Facebook, a larger site than Twitter by all metrics, he put $400 million largely into Georgia in the get out the vote portion of the Democratic outreach program. Like, that's what he did. And he used his position at Facebook to delegitimize stories like the Hunter Biden thing, anything negative about Biden and the Democrats. And he got rid of those stories. They know this. It's confirmed. And so this idea that now that Elon Musk on Twitter is doing something similar, that now it's this crazy beyond the pale thing. It's like billionaires are in our politics for better or worse. And I think it's probably almost always worse.
For the worst, for sure.
It's like happening.
What Zuckerberg did, if he donated, I didn't hear about him donating $400 million to the Democrats. That never got into my feed. But I can hear about Musk's, and it's happening right now. And it's also hundreds of millions of dollars. And it's not just like subtle ads or whatever. He's on the stage. He's jumping up trying to make an X in his dorky little.
They banned whole stories negative about Biden from entire platforms
on X right now.
Do you think that's as impactful?
I think it shows the bias. Like what has happened to the conversations on X have shifted. Like my red friends, the ones who don't like to hear anything that they don't like to hear, are like, you have to go to Twitter to get the truth nowadays. Everything else is a lie, right? Because Twitter is a safe space for Republicans.
There's a ton of left-leaning people on Twitter.
Yeah, but I'm telling you,
it's a safe space.
It's more. It's definitely more. It's more right-wing now for sure.
Yeah,
but that's also just like
by design.
Elon Musk taking his thumb off the scales, and now
Elon Musk put his thumb on this scale.
The thumb was on the scales for years. They admitted this.
They changed the algorithm so that Elon Musk's tweets get special treatment above all else. And he retweets Republican talking points and Republican.
He's totally biased. Yeah,
and so he got upset when he wasn't the biggest tweeter on the planet. So they made him that algorithmically. That is finger on the scale. That is buying a publishing company and then pushing out your political message as the richest man the earth has ever seen. Bezos did the opposite. Bezos refused to endorse a candidate.
No, he refused to allow his newspaper to do the endorsement they wanted.
Okay, yes. Yeah, I should have said it that way. So the Washington, but Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post, and he's doing sort of the opposite of what Elon Musk did, in that he's just staying quiet about who Washington Post.
I think it's because he probably sees the writing on the wall and that a Trump win is very likely, and he wants to be seen in a more positive light by that administration, because he has been
I somewhat agree with you, but I see it a little differently. I think he sees that if Kamala wins, there will be no punishment for failing to endorse her. But if Trump wins, there will be a punishment for endorsing the wrong person. So he's just going to stay quiet because Kamala will forgive him and Trump won't.
Maybe. I mean, but they endorsed his opponent in every other race.
Man, I just
they stopped, right? Why does the Washington newspapers endorse people? Like, that's a thing that newspapers do.
Isn't that insane?
Not the Washington.
That we like you're supposed to read this stuff from the New York Times and be like, what a prestigious organization. Who'd they endorse? Oh, the same party every time. Every time for probably, 80. And so this our media is so corrupt. And I like more freedom of speech online, whether it's Elon giving it or Zuckerberg. He's not really known for doing that.
Or paid Russian disinformation activists,
if that's the cost,
Laura Loomer,
if that's the cost of like having
the Russians to spread lies about the Ukraine war, is that the free speech we're protecting?
I would err on the side of allowing that versus shutting down whatever the current ruling party sees as threatening, because that's all that heavy censorship is. It's not about protecting people. It's about the people in power at that moment having the ability to solidify their stance and their ideology by banning speech outside of it.
But it is a problem when Russian pays American influencers $100,000 a video to spout Russian lies.
I agree. I don't like any foreign interference in our politics. That's why I've like mentioned disliking APAC so much on this show. I don't like any of this foreign influence. America should be for Americans.
There's harmful disinformation, and I can't have what I want. I want the harmful disinformation to not be spread. But since I don't know where the harmful disinformation is until 2 years later, I can't get it right all the time. And because I can't get it right all the time, it's this like, it's better to let 100 guilty people walk free than to let one innocent man get convicted sort of thing. Like that's where I am with censorship. And I just don't know how to get it perfect.
I want to talk about Elon's making his jumpy X though, because that's got to be. I didn't realize he was trying to make an X at first.
Oh, where he's got his fucking midriff hanging out like a retard.
Dude, I am not a good jumper, but I've got a better vertical than Elon Musk.
I think Woody and I can out jump Elon, and we're not jumpsmen.
Why does he keep doing it? Because I'm sure he's seen photographs of him doing it, and it doesn't look good. And yet
I saw the crowd beg for it. Like they're like, do the X, do the X.
Do
like
the
it's a crowd pleaser.
Yeah, but they're laughing at him. It's like a kid that stutters, and they're like, "Say Mary had a little lamb."
Did you see Trump talking about him on Joe Rogan, where Trump was like, "You've been hanging out with Elon Musk a lot. Like, what's he like?" And Trump's like, "Great guy. This guy, he's such a good guy from another planet. This guy." Like just like talking about what Trump thinks he's a fucking weirdo.
Even 10 years ago, when Elon was like, the saving the world for the Democrats guy, I still couldn't find him to be a compelling speaker. He is one of the worst communicators who's ever been in his position.
The space stuff is cool, and I am so in favor of making Twitter more free speech. But outside of that, the boring company, don't care. Tesla, I'm not interested.
What about the flamethrowers?
Flamethrowers, no, don't care about that. Flamethrower. It's really the Twitter. It's the Twitter and the space stuff that's top tier from him.
Yeah.
I like even politics. I think he's just he's got some good takes. I love that he's got this program in Pennsylvania where he's like, there's $1 million prize that you randomly get if you register to vote or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, I saw him give a big check to the winner, and it's like he's made it a game show. It's beautiful.
Apparently that's illegal. And
while they're suing him, he didn't show up today for court.
Right. Which in my world means you automatically lose. But I just am assuming the rules are different for Elon and he'll never be punished and everything will be fine.
Of course.
Like, is it even illegal? Or are they like trying to?
I've seen it again and again. Do I know the law? No.
Yeah.
But
it seems like it should be.
It seems like we don't tend to actually enforce laws against the amount of money that billionaires and large corporations bandy about in the political world.
There's a thing we agree on.
Yeah.
Last week they also found out that he'd been having these private conversations with Putin for over 2 years, and Putin had asked him to not employ Starlink over Taiwan or something like that, or as a favor to China.
What is why we have Starlink over Taiwan? Just give internet over there?
Yeah. Well, he wants to make the whole planet like internet accessible. Like,
what's taking so long on that? I thought
he's launching
seeing more.
Well, he has the most satellites.
Putting satellites in space. Give him a minute.
Continuously.
Nah.
Generally,
get moving.
Zach, show me. How about this? How many satellites do you think Elon Musk put into space this month?
35,000.
Wait, this month? I'm gonna say 34.
Yeah, I'll guess
that's
20.
Probably. I bet he a fucking 100. I bet each rocket's carrying like 50 of them or something.
Okay, fine. If he's popping 100 a month up there, I retract what I said.
Look, I'm guessing. I just know he's got thousands and thousands of them, and that like over 2/3 of existing satellites are Musk satellites. Like I can't see them with my eye, but I see people who are in the right area, and you see this line of fucking satellites moving through space. Was it 60 launching?
60 per launch.
60 per launch. How many launches this month?
I thought he meant one.
What I'm saying is,
either way, okay, 60.
It was pretty sketchy to hear that about Musk, and I don't know. He's got so much power and so much wealth, and to be tied into those key industries as well is a little sketchy. He's not just like
making deals with Putin on the side. Like,
his wealth isn't in like snack foods. so it's a little
No.
scarier.
That's Mr. Beast now.
Yeah, right. Like,
No, they
you
can't-
heard that the
dude.
CEO of Boeing was secretly meeting with Russia and, listening to his thoughts on what he'd like Boeing to do. It'd be like, what the? No, Boeing is for us. Boeing's an American company.
Mm.
But Elon Musk is also a defense contractor.
What is Musk
As of the
saying?
26th, he'd had
What's
22
his,
launches of 60 per launch. Yeah.
Okay, that's a lot. What did Musk say about the Putin thing?
I haven't
I don't-
heard Musk speak about it.
He
hasn't
said,
spoken to
"Vote
it?
Trump 2024, MAGA country," and then he did a little ha, and he jumped.
I mean, I don't.
He's-
Did he do the yacht?
That's Howard Dean. So that might be before your time.
No,
That's
I remember Howard Dean.
Dude,
Yeah.
I can't believe that was disqualifying for president. He
I
let
feel
out
good
an
Howard Dean, by the way.
yell in a crowded environment, and I guess the mics picked him up and not all the crowd noise, and it made him sound crazy, and his campaign was over.
That was
And-
2004, right?
Nowadays, you could literally get convicted of rape, and they're like,
Roughly.
I'm gonna buy. I stick with you.
We're going to
There's no media confidence the way there was.
They're going to
And your
And the
mic's
next day,
muting you
they
for
were
all
like,
that because it
"Dude,
knows that it doesn't want you to have this Dukakis moment.
What was his name?
Did
It
my
wasn't Dukakis.
Did my mic do something?
When you yell,
you
your
out,
mic
it yells.
quiets you.
Oh,
So you
Yeah,
need to
so it
tamp
just
it
happens like
down.
a couple times a show.
Calm down, big guy.
Howard Dean, that's who it was.
yeah.
Howard Dean, Jimmy's
call that.
political brother.
Ah.
yeah,
Yeah, the
we'll
sausage guy.
see. I don't know. I'm not confident that Kamala's going to win, but if someone's
I'm-
confident Trump's going to win, then I think they're being silly.
Absolutely, I am.
If
Not
I
confident
was
in any
forced to
outcome.
bet on it right now, it
Trump.
seems more likely Trump, and so I'd put my money there.
Yep.
But I'm not confident enough to put money on this.
Nope, not at this juncture.
I
Yeah.
heard some poll expert, he seemed non-biased, who was like, yeah, if anyone's confident that their choice is right, don't trust that guy. That guy's biased. I'm like, oh, yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
it's
Although,
hard to
like,
tell.
the algorithm is so fucking shitty, dude. There's like so many of these dweeb YouTubers who are like, I don't know, 22 years old, and they're election experts somehow. And it's like, I think this is your first election. You can vote, bro. What are you talking about?
Yes. Oh
And-
my
and-
God, I see them too.
And they've got the map out on 538 or 270 or whatever, and they're like, oh, we just ignore that one, and this one. So you're just picking and choosing polls to believe,
Mhm.
and then creating this forecast for this Trump Reagan like sweep. California's in play, people. I'm saying it right now.
Yeah.
And then they show you a
Yeah.
map of California, and I'm sure you've seen it before on Reddit or something, but California's mostly red. Like square footage wise,
That's how
Yeah.
square
counties
footage
work.
wise, it's like 2 to 1 red or something like that. It's the population.
Yeah.
We've got blue cities, not blue states.
Yeah.
And then we've
That's
got
how it
states
works.
full of desert and prairie as well.
Mm.
Yeah. The Republicans love to make it look like the bulk of the country is Republican, but it depends whether you measure by people.
The bulk of the
miles.
land is.
It is. It
Mhm.
is. Yeah.
If the animals could vote, though, they'd probably go dim.
The animals?
Yeah, I guess that's where the vegetarians
you-
are.
Are you serious? The animals would go third party and we'd have new conquerors.
If you let the Dolphins have a vote, I think that they vote Democrat. They're not stupid. They're not going to vote. What, Jill Stein? Please. She doesn't care about the Dolphins.
Dude, the
ways.
Dolphins would make their own party.
Yeah, no,
Dolphin part- there's not enough American
Party
dolphins.
system.
Do you know the population of dolphins in the Southern Waters, Taylor?
No.
Clearly. It's not going to be a real. This is not going to be.
You don't think they're going to be a
voting-
powerful voting bloc? The Gulf?
It's not going to be a powerful voting block at all. We're gonna.
They would be the. I was
Puerto Rico.
imagining they would be the leader animals, and they would like direct the cows, pigs, and chickens to be like.
No, they don't get a say. The cows
Yeah,
and chickens are food.
the animals don't have their shit together. The dolphins vote for one guy, the porpoise votes for another, and it's all
Porpoises don't
cracked.
get votes either.
And it all
Only
comes down to
dolphins.
who the pigs and cows and chickens pick. 'cause
And
they're the
probably
number
only
guys.
the bottlenose dolphins. I think those are the big smart ones.
Certainly not those river ugly ones. Yeah,
the ones that evolved to lose their eyes. Basically, it's just a slit now. Get out of here.
Those are the
Those
worst
yellow,
dolphins.
those yellow
They are the
dolphins
worst,
or
but I
whatever
think
they
they're
are.
Cool.
Lemon dolphins. What are they called?
No, they're kind of reddish.
Disgusting.
Maybe that was a tint from the picture
They're
cameras.
fucking
I remember
disgusting.
them
no,
being
but
like
I think
brown,
bottlenose
red,
dolphins are like
color.
they're coming right up behind us in intelligence. The Navy does crazy shit with dolphins, dude. All sorts of mine detection and like teaching them to go to enemy vessels and plant devices on them and then leave.
Yeah.
Like
Dude,
all sorts
eventually
of
we're going to
crazy shit.
figure out their language.
I wouldn't be surprised if they had already done it to a rudimentary level in the military.
Then we
Like
can
the
figure out
Navy,
whales.
the Navy's had a program trying to talk to dolphins since World War II, since before World War II. So like, I wouldn't be surprised if they can tell a dolphin to like, see you tomorrow at 8.
That'd be
And the
so
dolphin
funny,
shows up
like-
on time and clocks in. You know,
Like, what do you do? It's like, oh, I work for the CIA. It's like, oh, doing what? Like assassinating foreign despots, spy missions. He's like, no, I played Duolingo with with the dolphin for 11 hours a day. I've been doing it for 35 years. We've made no progress.